G'day guys, welcome to Big Block Garage. We have ourselves a part 2 of the Will It Start for our Big Block Galaxie right here. If you haven't seen it already, check our description for the link. You'll see the video of when we extracted this car after sitting for 35 years. We don't know what we're really dealing with yet in terms of the condition of the motor, gearbox, etc. But first things first, let's go and take a look at exactly what we've got with this car and maybe give it a bit of a clean up and see how we go. And here we are, been sitting under the trees for 35 years. Bonnet is completely toast. All the bodywork's toast. Can we even open these doors? It appears to be locked. Okay.
Definitely not opening. It's locked and this is...
Does that even move at all? Probably not.
It's totally jammed.
Okay. See if you can open it from the inside. See all this rust on all these panels. I don't even know if we can open these passenger doors yet. Driver's door's fallen off already. Probably the rest will too if we can get them open. Oh, hang on. That's come up. There you go.
Wow.
They came up. There we go. Oh, nearly falling off. Wow. See that. Staying on though. That's interesting.
Oh.
Check out the gap under the door. Wow. This thing's absolutely shagged. Completely non-existent boot floor. So I'm going to propose that we clean this car out of all its junk, give it a bit of a vacuum, we pull everything out of the engine bay, let's get this bonnet off, let's get the whole thing jacked up on some chassis stands and then see what kind of mechanicals we're dealing with. We'll crawl underneath and we'll get a better look at this engine bay once everything's all neat and tidy.
Sounds like a plan.
Alright, let's get started.
It's just amazing how much history there is with a car like this.
Oh, that's true. I'd be very curious to know the history and why it was parked for 35 years. And interestingly enough, the upholstery doesn't look too bad on the seats anyhow. The headlining's gone, but this would have been a nice car when it was first parked. Looks like we even got ourselves a spare belt. Wonder if that suits the Big Block. And we'll take a quick look under the car while it's up in the air. Back floors aren't too bad. As we work our way to the front, we can see a lot of rot. It's missing its left-hand exhaust. That body there on the cross member is completely rotten away. It doesn't look too bad though overall. Let's see if we can't get him started. We'll rip this bonnet off and keep clearing out the engine bay. Have a close look there, folks. We've got some missing spark plugs. Oh dear, this could well have been an open engine for the last 35 years. And so now, after cleaning up the driver's side, folks, every single one of these spark plugs is also missing. So things are not looking good. I think we're going to contemplate our next plan of attack over some cold ones. Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
Bloody cars. Righto, break time's over and we have formulated a plan of attack. But in the meantime, I actually think this whole front end has started sagging. Check it out. That's not meant to do that, folks. And so guys, we're going to start off with this air compressor. Going to blow out any crap that's in there. We'll use a vac as well. Once we've got it completely cleared out with the vac, put some inox down there, try and free up these cylinders. Then we'll undo all these belts and check that the alternator's turning, water pump's turning, and power steering pump's turning. And then see if we can crack this motor loose with all these spark plugs out. A lot of crap in that cylinder. Try and get as much of that inox in there as we can, in the hopes that we can free up this motor, assuming that it is locked up. We actually had a bit of oil come out one side on the right hand side bank, so that may be promising. You can see that rear cylinder is the one that had the most amount of oil coming out of it too. Speaking of oil, do we even have any in this sump? Let's see what it's like. That's actually quite interesting. I can't see any water in there. It's quite clear. That may give us some hope yet. We've even got some power steering fluid, amazingly. Probably a little bit low because it'll get lower once it starts kicking on. But it's holding so far. How about transmission? That's also a good sign too. That's a beautiful looking colour of the fluid, actually, nice and red. This probably was a good driving car when it was parked. Oh, that's come off nice and easy, beautiful. I'm a bit worried about this last plug and why it was still left in there. Very bloody good. Looks like it's pretty decent inside there too, actually. Might be some hope yet. There we go, look at that. Have a close look at that. Look at the rot on that alternator. But you know what? It turns, interestingly enough, but we're not going to be able to connect it if we manage to start this motor, because that belt will just fly right off. Okay, water pump turns. It's not seized. It's a start. Power steering pump's turning, that's good. No surprises, being that it's full of oil. That's all our belts removed. I think the next step is to see if we can get anything out of this crankshaft at all. I'll pop a brake bar on him and see if anything happens. You can also see that the top radiator hose is well and truly corroded, so even if we do get it running, we can't use the cooling system. It's only going to be a minute or two of run time. We got a bit. Look, wow. There we go. There we go. I'm going to go backwards now, just a little bit. There we are, folks, it's moving. She's moving. I think we have the best shot we're ever going to have of getting this thing started now. Should be able to keep these heads on. And away we go. Look at that. Look at that. That is movement, plain and simple. So we're going to try and hotwire this now, folks. If we can get the ignition working, we'll try to crank over the engine using the starter motor. If we can't get this ignition hotwired, then we'll just bypass it. Sometimes the dipstick will do it with these Fords, but I suspect this one is seized. We're not getting any love out of it. We're going to have to bypass it and hotwire him. Now, well, got a bucket for support since the tray's all gone. Here comes the moment of truth, to see if our starter motor even works. There we are, folks, battery's a bit low, but that motor's turning over. I think we better take off this air filter tonight and then see if we can get those linkages soaked in some fluids, and we may well have him up and running in the morning. You bloody ripper. Looks pretty clean in there, actually. That linkage is actually moving quite freely. I don't think we're going to need any lubrication at all. We'll spray a bit on anyway, put a return spring back on and deal with him in the morning. And here we are on day 2, guys. Going to lubricate the gearbox linkages just to make sure we can get it all through. Throttle's working nicely on the carburetor now, and once we've finished lubricating everything there, we'll draw our attention to the fuel line just here. We're going to disconnect that and prime the fuel pump and see if we can actually get any fuel going up into the carburetor, and turn the motor over whilst the spark plugs are out. Well, that just broke right off. That's okay, that will do. Now we'll replace this rotten hose with a bit of longer fuel line so we can run a jerry can off to the side. And that will now feed the old girl, assuming the fuel pump works. Well, we may not have a working fuel pump, we might try priming it again. But if that doesn't work, we'll just have to feed it straight into the bowls of the carburetor, but we won't be able to get it to run for real long. That's life. And if we have a look down there now, guys, we've got some fuel starting to squirt out. You may not be able to see it too well on camera, but we've got a bit happening. So it means the only thing left that we need to get this motor running is some spark. Happy bloody days. Alright, straight into it, guys. We're going to see if we have any spark from the distributor. We've connected up positive. Nothing so far. We suspect that if we swap this coil out, we might have a bit of a working system. It has been a while. And we'll see if we get any spark this time. No spark. Right, we better look inside this dizzy then. Alright, what have we got? You may not be able to see it yet, folks, even though everything has been immaculate on the inside. These points themselves are completely shagged. We'll rip them out and we'll show you a closer look before we sort them out. As we look close in there, you can see all the gunk and filth and rot. And so we'll actually clean up these points. They don't look too bad after all. Just a bit of gunk and crap that was inside rather than rot. Bit of 400 grit will take care of that nicely. Now we can bang these back in. And we'll just do an approximate gap. Something that looks to be around 0.3 to 0.4 millimeters. Should be enough to get him started. So condenser and points now played with. Original coil reconnected. We should have some ignition. We'll have a bit of a listen to it. Tick, 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 tick. We'll get some plugs in and a fully charged battery, and we'll be ready to start this thing in no time. You beauty. Fire extinguisher at the ready. Let there be some life. A little bit more fuel, I think. Shit batteries. Yep. Fuel pump slow. She's a runner. You beauty. We don't have any gearbox though.
Well done.
Thank you.
Got there.
Wow. Look at that. After 35 runs like crap, but after 35 years, runs. Wow, you beauty.
If there was such a thing as an afterlife, then his owner is going to be looking down on you going,
That's
wow,
it.
you got my car started.
Actually got it running. Alright, just for good measure, we're starting one last time. That's a pretty solid idle actually. Look at that. Go on. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, built Ford tough. And there we are guys, you can see the oil is still burning on the motor behind us, but it's a running motor. I do reckon with a good set of leads and maybe a cap and all the rest of it, it will probably run exactly like a clock. But you saw the beer sitting on the rocker cover, it was pretty good, it wasn't getting all shaken up. So after 35 years, this motor is now a runner. I'm really ecstatic with it. And now if you're enjoying these kinds of videos, I'm going to remind you guys, check my links in the description. If you've got any old cars like this which are pretty cool and you want to challenge us to it, we're more than happy to come out to where you are and start your car. Or alternatively, if you want to donate something like this to us or sell it cheaply, we're still interested. Hit us up. Anyway, we'll see you on the next video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Cheers.
Good job.
Done and done.
It's pretty dirty inside, I'm not calling that.
Lies. You need to prove yourself, woman.
Give me the camera, you can do it.
Well, I'm going to propose that we start by...
You're going to propose?
Yeah. Nah. Stop camera. Make sure you look after that upholstery, won't you, doll?
Excuse me?
Don't damage it.
You know what, there's, it's way beyond that. I thought that was a snake for a second.
If that was a snake, you wouldn't be here anymore. Besides, what kind of an Aussie are you if you can't handle a snake? You're a terrible Aussie.
I'm a Kiwi.
That's the problem, isn't it? Why do I do this again?
I question that every day.
Me too. Bloody cars, eh?
Bloody car guys, eh?
Come on, mate. Real man uses his fingers for a wing nut.
No man can beat that much rust though.
You're a Holden guy, you should be used to it. Beautiful. Oh, quality funnel. Oi, back to work.